Trials, the podcast. I'm Preya.
And I'm Melanie.
The New Trials of Cardcaptor Sakura, Syaoran, and Friends is a popular ongoing fanfic by Wishluv, and is based off of Clown's Cardcaptor Sakura. And in each episode, we'll do a deep dive of a chapter. Let's get into it. So I have a super cute question for you. Did you have any elementary school puppy love crush stories to share?
Oh, for sure. I was just one of those people that I just love. And so I had crushes even like starting in preschool. Like there was here, I'll just name drop him. I don't care. Like there was Joey in preschool. Like I was obsessed with this boy named Joey. He did not like me because I was like just attached to him. So there was Joey. And then in like from first through third grade, I had a huge crush on this kid named Aaron. And I was like so bold when I was a kid. Like I would never be this bold now, but like I found out he was going to be in the same class with me in third grade. And we got to like 2 days before school started, we got to go in and pick where we were sitting. I straight up found where he was sitting and I sat myself right next to him, like completely ignoring my friends and everyone else. And when the first day of school happened, it was just me sitting next to him, like surrounded by his little guy friend. It was so obvious I did it because I liked Aaron. I don't know where I got the audacity, but I would never now. But yeah, just cute little stuff like that. And of course, I had my first like quote unquote boyfriend in fifth grade. His name was Cody. And then then I had like another little like boyfriend in like sixth grade. But yeah, I've always had one on the hook.
I
How
love
about you?
I love that we're like the same person because that's pretty much my story too. Every single year I had a new crush on a new boy and it was just puppy love crush. Nothing ever came out of it. But in preschool there was this cute guy, his name was Charlot. And then in grade one, in grade two, there was this guy named Mark that I would spend all my recesses with. And then grade three there was Patrick, and grade four was Martin, and grade five was David. So yes, I've always zoned in on a crush. And even like the whole sitting next to a guy, when I was in middle school, there was this guy, nerdy guy, who held the door. Like, no, he didn't hold the door for me, but he was going through the door. He noticed somebody was behind him, so he used the back of his hand to keep the door open. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in love. So the next semester, I saw him sitting in the middle of the classroom, and I just casually sat next to him, and then I became his friend. And he's the one, David, the one that I said the year after, the one I would say, I love you. That's him. Anyway. So Melanie, we're the same person.
I mean, every day we get proven that we are twin flames.
Okay, so the story that I was specifically going to say for this podcast. So when I was in the third grade, I used to spend all of my recesses with my classmate Patrick. And he was like this quirky, funny guy. So on my birthday, I was standing on the schoolyard and I hear a whisper in my ear and it says, "Don't tell." And he puts something in my hand and walks away. I look at it and it's like a heart-shaped card made out of like pink construction paper that he made by himself. And on one side it says, "Happy birthday, HJ." And I flipped it over and it says, "I like you." And on the bottom of the heart it says, "Don't tell." I thought that was the cutest thing ever.
That is so elementary and so cute. Oh my God. What like a boy thing to say, like, don't tell anyone I like you.
It was very cute. I don't remember what I did with that afterwards. We still hung out, but like it was validating. The first dopamine hits.
It's nice to hear a story about a little boy, I guess, liking a girl and being cute in that way and not the whole typical like,
Yes.
oh, he was mean to you, so that means he likes you. Like, for instance, there was a kid I rode on the bus with every day, and I went to a really small school. Like, we only had 60 in my graduating class. We were tiny. So in Spree, or where I live, it's pretty much like, everyone, everyone's parents. And anyways, so him and I rode the bus together from goodness, like first grade clear through when both of us started to drive in high school. But yeah, he would always pick on me like all the time. Like he called me melon head. And everyone told me, they're like, Casey likes you. Casey likes you. And I was like, no, he doesn't. He's like constantly mean to me. Well, come to find out, I found out in high school he did like me. But by then I was like, no, you've been mean to me all these years, dude. Like,
That is so Gilbert from Anne of Green Gables. Like, Anne took forever to forgive him about carrots.
Oh, man. But if it was Gilbert Blythe, I would.
Everyone has their exceptions.
He would have been an exception. Like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I also have a funny, last week we talked about having fights with our significant other.
Yeah.
I 100% think we jinxed. We jinxed me because Pete and I had our first fight in like the longest time.
Girl, Karen and I just had a fight this morning. But it had nothing to do with us, though. It had to do with like my parents selling their building and my dad waffling back and forth. And then Cameron's like, I told him this a year ago and he didn't believe me. Nobody believes me. They should take my advice. And it's like, you guys trust the real estate agent more than me, and who was right in the end? And then he comes home like, sorry, I was mad. Like, that's okay. I understand your frustration. That was really fun. Okay, let's move on to Alliance of the Stars.
Alrighty. So first up, we have a comment from Mezel, and she commented on chapter 27, Galloping Through the Thunderclouds. And she said, wait, how have I not known Syaoran was awake the entire time either? Or maybe I did, and it's been so long that I forgot. Haha. I've always wanted to go horseback riding. It seems like you had lots of fun.
Oh, yes, we did, Russell. Yes, we did.
So much fun. And I'm still so proud of Preya that she went. She faced her fears.
Oh, fear. I think the fear of being kicked off the horse, but I quickly saw that wasn't going to happen.
Okay. And then next up, we have also some comments from Mezel, and it was on our chapter 30, The Lone Thief of the Night. And she said, it was so fun hearing about all the superstitions. I'm only halfway through the podcast episode, but I had flashbacks to my theater days, and it seems relevant with the star-crossed rehearsals going on. I'm sure Melanie is aware as a fellow thespian, but theater folk are very superstitious. It's why you always say break a leg before performing, because saying anything that refers to good luck is actually bad luck, like you're jinxing yourself. There's also legends about a ghost in a lot of theaters, and I can say the stories about the student in NT that died in the theater becoming the resident ghost. Maybe the phantom even made it into their folklore. My high school had a ghost named Zenobia haunting our theater. I didn't remember her story, but one year she caused a lot of problems during our production. I was super intrigued because she mentioned seeing the ghost Zenobia, and y'all know by now I love me a good ghost story. And so she said, it was right before performance. She was spotted in the wings by a lead actor who didn't even believe she existed, and he got very spooked.
I think that's my favorite part. Like, when the skeptic is seeing things, you know it's legit.
Oh my God. I love that type of stuff. And then she also commented, okay, I finished the episode now. Regarding Kai's locket, I'm sure if it's confirmed in canon that Ryuichi gave it to Mayura, unless that was info from a newer chapter that I don't remember. I do know it's been discussed a lot, so maybe it's just a big fan theory. I don't know. My memory of canon versus fan discussions also blends together. Also, I love the foundations of Kai and Sakura's friendship because Kai is such a free spirit and there's no way he tied himself down anywhere. But he knows he can never repay all that Sakura's done for him with no strings attached, and he's now so loyal to her. Like he's used to a world where nothing comes for free, and here comes a girl that's willing to risk so much for him only on the basis that she sees the good in him. It's why Sakura can bring together people with different personalities into the alliance.
Yes, I love that. And what's really cool about Nessel's comments is that it's spurred a discussion with Diana, and Diana, our grade 5 resident expert, knew exactly where to find the quote that was from the Kaiju Magician Origins, chapter 5, if I'm not mistaken. But she pulled out the quote that confirms that Ryuichi did give Mayura the locket. This is the kind of discussion that makes me nostalgic for those Yahoo group days, and it's really nice to see our podcast spurring it on in Facebook.
I freaking love it. I keep it coming, guys.
So today we'll be discussing Takashi and Chiharu's special, Sincerity, which I affectionately dubbed as 34.5. The release date was June 30th, 2001, which is also the same day as chapter 33 and 34, so Wish-chan really spoiled the fandom that day. The word count is 3,021 words. This has been a welcome relief for our Melanie. Okay, moving on to the summary. Takashi opened the special by saying how over the years he had been telling wild stories and how it was easier for people to believe lies instead of the truth. It drove Chiharu crazy, but that didn't stop him from liking every characteristic about her. Chiharu continued in her point of view and stated that while Takashi was the opposite of a supposed dream guy, she still cared for him, but was afraid he didn't return her feelings. She gave the example of him naming her handmade bear Suama instead of Chiharu. Still, she was the only person to see Takashi's true self back in kindergarten. We flash back 10 years ago, where 5-year-old Takashi was bullied by school children who accused him of being a liar when he said he had a mom. We learned that Takashi's parents divorced when he was 4, and that his mother was an actress with long hair and brown eyes. As his father disapproved of the resemblances, Takashi always kept his hair short and eyes closed. While the school children kept taunting Takashi of how his mother hated him, Chiharu stopped them and demanded that they apologize to him. Later on, she told Takashi that she believed that his mother would come back, and from that moment on, she was his hero. She packed him a lunch when his dad would forget, and treated him with suama, which was rare for him. When they were 6, Takashi declared his feelings for Chiharu and asked her to go out with him. In Chiharu's point of view, we learned that kindergarten was a wonderful time for them, from playing family to Takashi giving her an engagement ring made out of a 4-leaf clover. Then in elementary school, Takashi started to become a stronger person and started taking care of Chiharu, where he defended her if people picked on her, and he helped her with homework. She believed that Takashi faced the fact that his mother wasn't coming back. She is ready to be by his side when he lowers his mask and opens his heart. Still, there were times that he hurt her, like in the 3rd grade when he told her that she didn't have to make lunch anymore since he had a housekeeper who was better and that he was better too. When he was making stories about lunchboxes, the dam broke for Chiharu and she punched him in the head and demanded that he stop lying. Takashi closed the special by saying that he and Chiharu are still close. He stopped believing that his mother would come back, but he knows that she still loves him. He said that even though he joked, he still holds Chiharu above everything else, and though he doesn't know if Chiharu feels the same way about him, he knows that one day he'll remove his mask and be serious, so Chiharu would believe him when he tells her, "Thank you for always being there for me. I love you, Mihara Chiharu, always have and always will." And Amethyst Beloved starts to melt.
I've been looking forward to this all day because I know you're just going to be just fangirling in front of me for like the next 20 minutes. And I am so excited about it.
As all of you know by now, this chapter was how I discovered new trials. And listening to Melanie's audiobook chapter was like a homecoming for me.
And I put a lot of effort into it for you.
It really showed. It really showed. It was the spring of 2003, and it made me remember that I have been part of this wonderful fandom for 20 years.
20 years.
So, in Chiharu's point of view, she vents her frustration, but she's scared that Takashi's feelings for her are superficial. Now, we get a callback of Takashi naming Chiharu's bear Suama after his favorite dessert. She admits that she was drawn to him because she saw the true him. And this is what we see in canon. And then what I love so much about Wish-chan is just the way that she dives into this relationship.
And so I didn't know what Suwama was, and so I looked it up, and
Oh,
it's
good, because
and
I don't
just
know
so
what it is.
okay. So it says Suwama is a non-glutinous rice flour, hot water, and sugar characterized by its red food dye. It is dyed red because the red and white symbolizes celebration in Japanese tradition. It is kneaded and then optionally shaped by sushi rolling mat, which gives the final product a textured, slightly bumpy surface. Suwama is similar to, but not the same as, two other rice-based Japanese snacks, mochi and yuriro, if I'm saying that right. Mochi uses glutinous rice flour, while yuriro is kneaded, but rather mixed and placed in a mold and steamed.
Oh, thanks for looking into that. So I never thought about looking into it. Like I've heard of mochi, but I think that's about it. Huh.
Looking at this picture on Wikipedia, it looks a lot like mochi, except mochi, I think, is more like kind of like a chewy texture. Like I love mochi. It's kind of like chewy when you bite into it, whereas this looks like it's more of like a hard candy.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So it's time for the flashback, and we go all the way back to when they're 5-year-olds. Now, the children picking on Takashi for being motherless is brutal.
Oh my God. I'm going to stand on my soapbox for a minute, guys. Okay. So bullying, kids learn the things they say from somewhere. And it's so obviously from parents. And so, like, do not let your kids become bullies, guys. Like, it is, I was bullied relentlessly from elementary clear through middle school, I want to say, and it's not fun. And this whole kind of sequence kind of was triggering me a little bit, and it's just, it is still like, even today I'll have like random nightmares about different stuff. And anyways, guys, if you see something, say something, stand up for somebody. Anyways, getting off my softbox.
No, for sure. And even in the chapter, it's very clear that the gossip is coming from the parents. And
Yes.
I think that's because of like small towns, everybody knows everybody's businesses and nobody can keep their mouth shut about anything. And yeah, yeah. But that aside, your baby talk was so cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember in the chapter, like, Wish Chan would write like beautiful, and then in parentheses she'd be like beautiful in case you don't get it. Like, but it was really nice to like just listen to the chapter without like the author's notes.
You're beautiful, Priya.
Very cute. So now I've mentioned before that I've read practically every single Takashi and Chiharu fic under the sun, but they were painfully one-dimensional, where the author would just take scraps of what Clamp would throw and just make do with that. So I think the moment I realized that Wish-chan was cut from a different cloth was when she said the reason that Takashi kept his eyes closed and his hair short was because those features reminded him, his father, of the woman who left them, and that really stuck with me. I'm like,
Yeah,
to
it's
take
deep.
those features and just to like really deep dive into like his family life. Like, this is just Clamp drawing a picture of a boy with his eyes closed. And Wish Chan's like, no, no, I see what you're putting down, but I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna run with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're back to preschool, and his classmates are accusing him of lying because Takashi believes that his mother is going to come back. And that's when Chihiru stands up for Takashi, which I loved, and their friendship was born, especially when Chiharu was the only one who said that she believed him. So it's like, if you wonder why they're so close, it's like Wish-chan is telling us.
Oh, so cute. I just love it.
So Chiharu becomes Takashi's protector and just, beginning to make sure he has enough to eat, which is really sweet. And it's especially important to note that the suama she brought is his favorite. So even though as fourth grader, she's like, I can't believe you didn't name that bear Chiharu, it's still like, 6 degrees of separation-ish. It comes back to her.
It's the Kevin Bacon.
So we got the proposal at the ripe old age of 6, and it looks like that's when they became official, according to Wish-chan. We get more narration from Chiharu, and then we get a fast forward of how in elementary school the roles reversed, and Takashi became more confident in himself. But this is also where Chiharu's insecurity comes in, and when she becomes frustrated with the facade. And but nonetheless, she remains patient. So you gotta hand it to the girl. It's like, but then again, they're children. They're children. If he wants to tell his stories, if he wants to entertain, that's uh that's who he is. And she just like takes a deep breath and it's like, okay, if that's how he's gonna be, that's how he's gonna be.
Yeah, I think it's mostly she gets frustrated that he does that to her as well. And so I think she feels like she should be exempt from that and she's not. So I think that's what she kind of holds against him a little bit.
I could definitely see that because it reminds me of the story. So, Charles Schultz, the artist of Peanuts, the
Oh
Snoopy.
yeah.
Yes, yes. So, Charlie Brown had the biggest crush on a little red-haired girl. And this was actually somebody based in Charles Schultz's real life. There was a little redhead girl that he was completely infatuated with. Then, grew up, married someone else, and then little redhead girl actually came to one of his signings, and she brought her book, and she thought that she was going to get some kind of special inscription or something like that. But then she sees, and he just writes what he writes to everybody else, and she's offended.
Savage. I love it.
So I think Chiharu feels that not to compare the two, but I understand the little grown up little redhead girl thought she would get some kind of different treatment, but no, lumped in with all the others, and Chiharu definitely after what Chiharu and Takashi has been through, she definitely does deserve a different side of him, and we understand her frustration that he's not giving her that.
I am a petty queen, as all of you know, and I love it. Love it.
So we fast forward to third grade, and that's when we get the heartbreaking scene of Takashi dismissing Chiharu's lunch, but not before making up a story about lunchboxes, of course. And this is the straw that broke the camel's back because he's like, oh, you don't have to bring it anymore. I have a housekeeper and she cooks better than you. You know what? I cook better than you too. Cue the mallet. The boy had it coming.
Yes. We'll stock it up to emotional immaturity, but yeah.
So Wish-chan also inserts a scene from the manga where Takashi tries to make a lie about Chinese word papers, but for once Syaoran calls him out on it. So I remember that scene in the manga. It was really cute. So before the chapter ends, Takashi touches on the fact that most of his friends have one parent, and clearly he's referring to Sakura, Syaoran, and Tomoyo. And it's interesting that Clamp decided to take that route.
Yeah, and I guess we could technically lump Errol in there too. We don't really know a whole lot about him in that regard, but
it's so weird. He just comes into town like a 10-year-old and wreaks havoc. It's like, who are his guardians? And I'm not talking about Ruby Moon and Soupy-chan.
I don't know if maybe it makes me icky to say Kaho, but
no, don't say Kaho. No. We know what canon, what Clamp wants as canon. So, unfortunately.
Not an T-verse though, right, Wish-chan?
Not an T-verse. So Takashi talks about making peace with the fact that his mother is out of his life. And finally, we get the confirmation that the sincerity behind his confession as a 6-year-old is still there. And one day he will show Chiharu the real him behind the mask when he confesses again. Yay!
So sweet.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. It's like what drew me to Takashi and Chiharu in the first place is I don't remember if it's manga number 3 or manga number 4, but basically it's the story with I think the jump card, the one that hides itself inside the no, not the jump card, it has to be the mirror card. Because I feel that Chiharu and Takashi are just walking down the street holding hands, and Chiharu sees what she thinks is Sakura like messing up the toys. And she's like, huh, that's strange. But like right before messing up the toys, Clamp drew the cutest little like Takashi, Chiharu holding hands at 10-year-olds, just enjoying the day. And I'm like, that's adorable. So Dark Forces Corner doesn't apply to this chapter. And for fan art spotlight, Wish-chan posted a fan art of Takashi and Chiharu during junior high, not too long after I became the fanfiction.net uploader. And she wrote, the fan art of Takashi and Chiharu is dedicated to Amazon's beloved since TNC are her favorite couple, and also as a thanks for her posting up the rest of the chapters in New Trials up on fanfiction.net. It's a tedious job since my chapters are so long and everything. I am really grateful to her. And because she wrote me the greatest number of reviews on fanfiction.net, once for every chapter, I think, or like 3 for every chapter. Because, I'd split the chapters in 2-3 parts. On top of that, she's a writer too. Read her stuff at fanfiction.net. I haven't because I've been so busy with New Trials, but I'm sure they're great because she's a great person.
Aww.
I cried.
I bet.
I was crying tears of happiness. I was so moved that she dedicated to me. I printed it out, and this was back into 2003 with like the laser printers, like the and I slipped it in the cover of my school binder so I could always have it with me. And also in her author's note, she actually writes, let me just go back. Suddenly, Takashi and Chihiru fan art when they're in junior high. They haven't changed much, have they? This is not my first time drawing them. I never scanned up the pictures I drew of them, but this is my favorite fan art of the couple. I still think that, I think TNC are such a cute couple. And all I have to say is release the works in progress.
I knew you were going to say that. We want them whips.
Yeah. Like I wanted to like release the whips, but I wasn't sure if that would translate well in audio.
I mean, 50 Shades. I'm kidding. Can I just say she nailed Takashi's face in this fan art like amazingly. Like he looks, not only like does he look more grown up, but like how she made him both have the face he's supposed to have and make him appear more grown up is just amazing. And Chiharu is just beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
I love her very
peasants. I love her
peasants. I know.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I love her very 2000s peasant top that she has on. It's so cute.
Yes, so she's still like rocking the ribbons. I love her jewelry. I'm a jewelry girl, so identify. Okay, time to move on to the author's notes.
All right, so we have Wish-chan. Hee, sorry I write so many side stories. Actually, I like them because I can explain things that don't quite fit in but connect to the plot. I always wanted to write about this couple, and I always found the way Takashi told stories fascinating. And I always wondered what was behind his smiling face. I have a fascination with masks, such as Chichiri from Fushigi Yugi and that guy from Kare Kano. Also, since I focused on the couple a bit more in chapter 34, I thought a special story would be nice. I wrote this in kind of a different style, I guess. I included Chiharu and Takashi monologues and then included the story in third person. Their story would tie into the main story, so it helps to read this. Plus, special stories relieve writer's block. Hee. Oh yeah, the 4th grade scene does actually occur in the manga. The rest is made up.
Yay. Writer's block. Wish-chan, never apologize for your side stories. We love them. You have been listening to New Trials, the podcast, where it must rain for there to be a rainbow.
You've been listening to New Trials, the podcast. Please be sure to check out the audiobook version of this fan fiction that you can find anywhere that you can find this podcast. Also, please be sure to check out the fan page for New Trials, which is on Facebook, where a big part of our discussions happen nowadays. And guys, we are rolling right along to the end of Arc 2. So join us next time where we discuss Chapter 35, It Must Rain First.